expressed to not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud-Esmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better.
What?
Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, folks in the Inland Empire. Welcome to Steer the Line. I'm your host and stats expert, Christian Giordani. Alongside him, we have Jeremy James, our fantasy football guru, Rocky Giordani, our ex-professional athlete, and Loud-Esmond, our professional sports handicapper. I know Loud's going to want to jump into the UFL, so I'm going to save us before we get into it with some NFL news. L'Jarius Sneed, I don't know if we talked about it last week. He was traded to the Tennessee Titans for a 7th and 3rd round pick, a 7th in this year's draft and a 4th in the next, or a 3rd. And then he signed, I believe, a 4-year deal for $76.4 million. Jeremy, does this fit into the Tennessee Titans timeline, or is this just a good signing all around?
Especially what they got for him, he's considered probably a top 5, top 10 cornerback in the league right now. And who's rocking out over there?
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, I think it was a good move, especially what they got him for. They bring in a young, talented corner on a team that's trying to avoid a full rebuild from the moves they seem to be making.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys, that was my Derek Carr ringtone.
Oh, yeah.
And while we're
it sound like a baby crying.
I don't even time it anymore.
While we're talking about the Titans, they 2 years ago, the obvious infamous trade for A.J. Brown, they traded A.J. Brown for a first-round pick because they did not want to extend him at the age of 24. And now they signed a 28-year-old Calvin Ridley for a bigger contract than what A.J. Brown would have had. Rocky, is that just a mistake on the Titans' part?
Look, the fans love Calvin Ridley. He's kind of, you expect him to be reaching his peak. He hasn't peaked yet. Nobody thinks.
No peaking.
More. Nobody what? Go ahead, Loud.
I said no peaking.
No peaking. No, I think he's going to be a generational talent. That's what they're hoping for. Everybody thinks so. If you have to pay him to keep him around, he puts butts in the seats at your stadium. You know what I mean? They need him. So what the hell? Why not?
A.J. Brown wanted out of Tennessee.
Right.
Well, A.J. Brown reportedly would have agreed to the contract that the Eagles assigned to him.
Yeah, but he had made it fairly clear he was disgruntled. Remember, his quarterback was Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a problem for him. And now, of course, the young guy's name is going to escape me.
Will Mayo Levis.
Yeah, Will Levis, who, by the way, I was saying I thought it was the steal of the draft. I think he's going to be great for them long term. L'Jarius Sneed. Now, I forget, which character is he in the Harry Potter series?
Right. He's the one that teaches potions.
I
think that's a great kid.
Does he teach the offensive magic, or is he the potion guy? I can't remember.
You got me, brother.
I know he's not the fortune teller because that's what's her name with the big bug eyes.
Right,
Yep.
the bug eyes.
Well, as a Rams fan, I was very looking forward for the Rams to make a trade for L'Jarius Sneed, and I was very upset that he went to the Titans until the Rams signed Tre'Davious White to an $8.5 million deal worth up to $10 million.
Which is a really good get.
Yeah, Rocky, you're a Rams fan as long as I am.
Sneed is another guy. He's going to be one of those guys who puts number one receivers. I mean, the best receiver in the league. He'll put them on an island. He will cut them down to no catches, one catch, less than 100 yards a game. You know what I mean? He's going to be a generational talent wherever he goes. I don't know where he's going to end up after this. How many years is signed for?
4 years. 4 years.
4 years. Well, he'll still have more juice in 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, but now the Rams have Tre'Davious White. What's your opinions on them signing Tre'Davious White coming off an ACL tear season and being cut from the Buffalo Bills? Rocky.
Who, me?
Yes,
listen, I love it. I love it. Look, cut him. You got the right room for him. I have no idea what that was about. why they let him go, but I think that's a really good get for the Rams. They need help in the secondary.
Salary cap space.
They
it
really
was a contractual issue, yes.
Yeah, great get. I like it.
Yeah, I'm happy. The number one problem for the Rams this last season was their secondary. And aside from, signing Tre'Davious White, they got Jamal Curl, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, from the Washington Commanders as he was a free agent. And they re-sign a guy on their championship team, get back a guy from their championship team. Darius Williams was one of my favorite players about 2 years ago. So they really bulked up their defense in the secondary, which I think completely changes their approach in the draft coming up. One more piece of NFL news before we move on to the UFL. And the Jets are trading for Hassan Reddick from the Philadelphia Eagles for a future third-round pick. Jeremy, what do you think about this trade?
It's obviously a need for the Jets, and I figure if you can get a solid player that you trust to come in and do the job for a third-round pick, when the Jets are still trying to be all in, they got Aaron Rodgers hopefully healthy this year. So, yeah, whatever moves they make, I think are pretty solid moves because they're trying to go all in this year.
Lau, your opinions on the trade?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I have a question. If we're done with that one, Christian.
Go on ahead.
Loud, Jeremy, Christian, anybody, everybody, who do you think will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1?
Oh, it's Russell Wilson. They already said it's Russell Wilson.
And do you think they're going to stick with that? Jeremy, Loud, do you think that's going to happen?
Depends on whether or not Russell Wilson sucks.
Yeah, my prediction.
If he does suck,
I'll say it now.
If he does suck, he won't stick as the quarterback.
Months before week 1, Fields will be the starting quarterback. I believe that.
At week 1.
Russell Wilson is going to be, I don't know.
I think you're going to see both of them play this season at some point, whether because of injury or ineffectiveness. We're going to see probably Russ get the start week 1, unless Fields full on beats him out, and then I think even if that happens, we'll still eventually see Russ at some point because these two guys are, it's feast or famine with one of these guys for Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah, platooning quarterbacks never work.
We'll see how it goes.
All right, moving on. The NFL has had new rule changes for the 2024-2025 season. I know all us regular diehard football fans are kind of cringing at it. First one is the hip drop tackle rule. You're no longer allowed to grab an opponent by the hip and rotate him and force him to the ground in an awkward spinning motion. That's the quote unquote.
How the hell are you going to officiate that?
No,
exactly.
Actually, that's not the problem, Christian. You can do all that, but if you land on his legs, you're going to get a penalty.
Yeah,
that's the problem. They grab him from behind. Anybody? Jeremy's a wrestler. A double hip. I mean, come on, a 2-leg takedown. Anytime you get a guy by the hips, you control both his legs. So you get a guy by the hips and you turn and you're fine. But if you just drag him down, drop your weight and drag him down, and you land on his legs, it's going to be a penalty. I don't like it.
I don't like it. The biggest reason this was initiated is because it cost 2 seasons, or it cost a season to 2 star players, Mark Andrews and Tony Pollard, in the beginning of the year.
It wrecked Bo Jackson's career.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened to Bo Jackson.
How many guys have been ruined by AstroTurf?
You can't make football safe. Stop trying to make football safe.
These guys know what they're getting into.
It would be like UFC saying, you can't hit people very hard anymore. What are you doing? You can't officiate that. Once somebody initiates a tackle, if they're tackling from the side or behind, how the hell are they going to avoid that?
Yep. Well,
I don't get it.
Yeah. Now a new rule change is going on. The NFL is adopting the XFL's kickoff rule, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous as well.
I love this.
You love it?
I absolutely love this.
Okay, Jeremy.
I loved the kickoff in the XFL last season. It was fun. I know there's only one return for a touchdown, but you're talking about now NFL level guys. Tyreek Hill is going to have multiple return touchdowns this season because of this rule. It's going to be fun. It does keep guys from, a little bit safer or whatever, but I just think it's going to bring back the kickoff altogether. We've lost that art, that skill, that talent. I mean, Devin Hester just went into the Hall of Fame. We haven't seen anyone really like him.
If you want to fix the kickoff in the NFL, go back to the way it was.
I think it's going to be fun. I like this change because I enjoyed it in the XFL. There were multiple XFL rules. I'm like, this would be fun to see in the NFL. And this was one of them.
What they need to do? You know what they need to adopt in the NFL that the XFL did really well is you can listen to the referees talk all the way through a call. They had complete transparency in terms of when there was a challenge or when there was a question, you could hear the full audio. I don't like it when the NFL goes to a challenge and we're sitting in silence for 3 minutes and then all of a sudden the call's overturned. No. That's to me, that's like a secret tribunal. I want that out in the open like the XFL did it.
Yep. Agreed.
Because as a former Raiders fan, there were so many times when the Raiders just got completely screwed by calls. And I just knew it was they just don't like the Raiders. And so they screwed them. Tuck rule, anybody? Just saying. I would love to have heard that conversation. Just saying.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of conversations I would have liked to hear, but that's for another show, another day. I mean, really, Special Olympics, these guys should go straight to freaking jail. I mean, come on. They're standing around having a beer. They're watching these two handicapped guys, and they go, "Oh, we got to race these dudes, man. We got to race them." Come on.
I'm sorry. What planet did we just go to? Did we go to Planet Rocky and no one?
I'm the only one who gets this. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Hey, let's bring back. Let's bring back bum fights.
Bum fights. Love bum fights.
Let's do that.
Bet him
all right, we're a betting show. Here's
I bet we're not going to be on the air next week.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, how will the kickoff rule affect scoring in the NFL games? Is going to be interesting to see because are you going to get more returns for touchdowns, and is that going to add to the point totals? That's going to be interesting to see. So, and also for you fantasy football players, what does that do in terms of does it make special teams more interesting to you? Because there's always that question for me, Jeremy, is am I picking the defense or am I also being influenced by how good the special teams unit is?
Yeah, and I think that's going to bring back, for fantasy, that edge for certain players. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers went out and signed Cordero Patterson. He's had 9 return touchdowns over the last decade or so.
Right.
That's why they brought him in. And like I mentioned, Tyreek Hill and certain guys are just going to be able to break loose a bit more. And I think we will see more touchdowns this year, return for touchdowns. And I also think we'll see bigger returns where offenses are going to be starting at, deep in the 30 or, 40-yard line because guys are going to just pick up 20, 30 yards on these returns more often.
Yeah. Now in the draft, you have to
that's going to be a big deal for dome teams. I think you're going to see a lot of really interesting things.
Now in the draft, you have to consider your special teams more. You know what I mean? A lot more. Take your regular guys, your second stringers. They all go out there and stop a punt. Now it's really going to have to be it will now be a much huger portion. A third
could not be larger much. Hey, Rocky
of the importance.
Yeah. Okay. United Football League kicks off literally this weekend. We have the UFL. Anybody have any deep thoughts on the UFL season to begin with before I get into
my
thoughts? Yeah. I'm sad that they left out the Las Vegas and Seattle squads from the XFL, and they kept in the showboats and the Brahmas.
What was it? The Sea Kraken, Sea Dragons?
The Sea Dragons. They were fun.
I love the Sea Dragons.
That was the coolest logo in the UFL.
They were fun. The Las Vegas team played in a terrible venue, so but
I still like the Las Vegas Vipers with their black and red.
Las Vegas does not want another pro sports team. They already denied the Oakland Athletics to come back to Las Vegas. They do not want another pro sports team. Las Vegas.
What are you talking about? The A's are building a stadium in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but the mayor of Las Vegas just said, hold up. You should try to find another home option and try to stay in Oakland. It's not a done deal that they're going to Vegas yet.
Okay, that's news to me.
I made money off the USFL last year.
Yep,
I did. I didn't make a lot of bets, but I was really careful, and I made a couple of bets, made a little money, so I'm not so against it now anymore.
So you've got this weekend, the 4 games that you've got, the Stallions and the Renegades, and that game is interesting because what they've done is scheduled the winner of the XFL versus the winner of the USFL. The Stallions being the team that won the XFL championship, the Renegades having come out of nowhere and won the USFL championship. And so those two teams play each other in the kickoff game. The Stallions under Skip Holtz have been the class of spring football. They've been the best team most consistently. People could argue that DC Defenders were maybe the best team last year, and they ended up getting bounced out of the playoffs early. The Renegades, however, they're going to be improved, and their head coach over in Arlington, Bob Stoops, he's no scrub. So I've got the Renegades plus 3.5 there in that first game against the Stallions. I'm going to take the underdog plus the 3.5 points.
Wow.
Okay, we hear crickets.
Game 2.
Anybody else want to jump on that?
Just give us game 2.
Okay, Battlehawks.
Rocky, you want to jump on it?
Battlehawks and the Panthers. AJ McCarron, who came in and did some backup work for the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, he won the championship game. Championship game? He won an NCAA championship in football with the Alabama Crimson Tide. And, of course, is famous because his girlfriend got, what's-his-name, fired from ever calling another college football game again. And now he runs the VSiN network in Vegas. Just saying. All right. Anyway, his girlfriend was hot. Now that's his wife, and she's hot now too. Battlehawks with AJ McCarron at quarterback. I like them a lot better than the Panthers, coached by former 49ers coach Mike Nolan, who didn't do very well with the 49ers. And I like the Battlehawks -7 there, mostly because the AJ McCarron was the MVP of the league last year, and he's the best quarterback in the league. Defenders and Brahmas. The Defenders went 9-1 last year. Everybody thought they were going to make a deep playoff run, and they were going to be, in the championship game. And it didn't happen. And then their offense got gutted during the offseason. The Brahmas are going to be better. They had I forget the name of the former player that they had as a coach last year, but he was terrible. He's gone. They have Wade Phillips now. Wade Phillips, no.
No way.
No. What's his name? Bless it.
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco's with the Colts.
No kidding.
Yeah, Wade Phillips is the coach of the San Antonio Brahmas, and Wade has done very well in spring football previously with other teams. With a gutted offense and the Brahmas sort of still figuring it out, the Defenders are going to be the best defense in the league. I'm going under in that game, under 43. And then to finish off your weekend, you've got the Showboats, who should not have been kept in the league. They should have either kept Las Vegas or they should have kept Seattle. Why they kept them? Oh, I know why. They kept the Memphis Showboats because Memphis was a hub. That was where all the teams played in that league. They all played in Memphis. So you couldn't get rid of that team. So that's why they're still there, even though they were terrible. And then the Roughnecks, that game is my who the hell knows? Because I don't know who any of the coaches are, any of the players. I don't have a freaking clue. in that game. So can't give you any direction. But Defenders and Brahmas under 43. Battlehawks -7 against the Panthers. Renegades +3.5 against the Birmingham Stallions.
I'll say last year in the XFL, the St. Louis Battlehawks were a lot of fun to watch. They won a lot of games from behind. AJ McCarron was chucking the ball all over because he had some quality NFL level players on that team. They brought almost that entire team back with some good additions. Bruce Gradkowski.
They're going to be tough.
Is that who
he's the offensive coordinator?
Yeah, he's the offensive coordinator. Former
skinhead from the Raiders.
Yeah, from the Raiders. So I'm looking forward to watching the Battlehawks again to see if they are as fun as they were last season. So that is one team I'll watch in the UFL.
Yeah, and so that's the second game on Saturday. It'll be 1 p.m. Pacific. There's no night games almost in the UFL this year. It's almost all 10 a.m. West Coast, 1 p.m. West Coast on Saturdays, 9 a.m. West Coast, noon West Coast on Sundays. So very few, if any, night games. And so that's just an interesting choice that they're making.
Are all the games being played in the same stadium?
No, they're playing in home stadiums.
Cool.
So you actually have the Stallions at the Renegades, the Battlehawks at the Panthers.
That's one of the reasons those Battlehawk games were so fun last year is because they were packing 35,000 people into that stadium for some of those XFL
How about
games.
the DC Defenders putting 35,000 people in the stands? And, we got to give it to the Defenders for the beer snake. They have the best beer snake going on in any professional league that I've ever seen. So,
beer snake.
Oh,
yeah. So I hope they keep the fun of the XFL. It was superior.
It was a superior product to the USFL.
It was absolutely.
Do you guys believe there will ever be a period in time in the distant future where the UFL will now be, let's say, a minor league for the NFL?
It already is.
Yes, it is unofficially, but I mean with the official.
No, I don't think they'll ever be affiliated. And I hope they don't, because I like spring football because it gives us something. It gives us some football to watch in an off time of year. Now I'm looking forward to the hockey playoffs, but those will be over at some point. And it's nice to have some football going on.
Hey man, you got MLB baseball for 7 months, 8 months.
No, I don't. I have YouTube TV, and there is no Major League Baseball anywhere.
Oh, you're lucky.
On YouTube TV. So, and by the way, can I just ask what the hell Major League Baseball is doing?
Agreed.
Their fan base is dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. Opening day, I could have. I didn't even know it was opening day until I was watching Fox News. And they did something about it's opening day in baseball, and I'm like, oh really? And where are the games? You can't find them. Freaking MLB made a deal with Root Sports for most of the games. Who the hell gets that? I think honestly, if I was Major League Baseball and I'm a marketing guy, I would be giving my product away. I would have a free MLB channel where you could watch any game that you wanted, because what they need more than anything else right now is anybody to give a rat's ass about baseball. And your people are not going to sign up and pay for it. It's just not going to happen. Rocky.
This is what we all knew was coming. We all knew was coming with the contracts that are getting up into 400 million, 500 million, now 700
million.
They have to find a way to make new revenue. Everything's for sale. There will be no more free anything. And whoever makes the largest bid for the rights to show all the games is going to get it, even if it's some channel that nobody's ever going to watch. I don't even know what it is.
Take the Dodgers, for example. They made a contract with Spectrum. Yeah, and it doesn't matter, viewer count doesn't matter, whatever. They get a certain number from Spectrum every year. That number is $850 million.
Right.
They get $850 million annually for Spectrum to be able to show the Dodger games there. So they don't care. They don't care about expanding the game. It's going to be a problem that's going to happen in 20 and 30 years because baseball is dying down. As a baseball fanatic, It's really hard to have a casual baseball fan nowadays. 163 game season, no one's going to follow that unless you're really into it. And for those who just watch every once in a while, who on a now they can't even find the games. So yeah, baseball.
I tell you what, I become a bigger and bigger hockey fan the more hockey I watch, and I'm getting to watch all the hockey I want practically, except for Friday nights. But Jeremy, what is it with the NHL and Friday nights? They hide the games. It's Friday night. It's the kickoff to the weekend. There's one game scheduled tonight, and it's only on the NHL network. What are they doing?
I don't know. I mean, the NHL has just always done it that way, where their games are spread out all over the place. I mean, as a Kings fan, unless I forget who their deal is with, but unless I have a certain app, I only get to watch the games once in a while either. Yeah,
1 minute.
Great job.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I am looking forward to the hockey playoffs, and I'm definitely looking forward to the NFL draft, which is like less than a month away from now.
By the way, my best bet in hockey is tomorrow. The Florida Panthers -1.5. They're coming off a loss. They're one of the best teams. They're on home ice. I think they're going to kick some tomorrow.
Hey, this NFL draft, the first white cornerback in 22 years. We'll be
drafted in the first round. Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, baby, go Cooper DeJean. And he's the bomb, man. He's gonna kick some butt. This guy's gonna be really good. He's gonna be great.
All right, everyone.
You know what? He has a name that needs a sandwich for him.
Yep, DeJean sandwich. All right, everyone.
DeJean.
We've been Steer Line. We'll see you guys next Friday to talk more NFL.